So fine.
Yes, sir.
Now let's have a discussion on this. So you understand that what is conjunction, isn't it? So conjunction is a part of speech that connects words, phrases, or clauses in a sentence, and it helps in forming more complex and meaningful sentences. So that is what conjunction is all about if you talk about the definition. Now, here we find out nothing but called as a means lot of things that we need to discuss. So when we talk about conjunction, it means joining two words, joining two phrases, or joining two sentences, right? Now, here
Okay.
we find out conjunctions can be divided into three parts. What are they? So if you talk about that, there are three types of conjunctions. One that you find out here, which is called as a coordinating conjunctions, and the other one is called as a subordinating conjunctions, and the third one, which is called as a correlative conjunctions. What is that? That is called as a
Correct.
correlative conjunction, right? My handwriting is very poor in this. So correlative, not handwriting because of the kind of writing.
Laptop.
Yeah, correlative conjunction. So here you would find out coordinating, subordinating, and uh, that called as a correlative. Now, if I talk about the first one, that's called as a correlative, coordinating conjunctions. These conjunctions connect words, phrases. Please do understand that what they do, that they join two words, two phrases, or you can say that um, independent clauses that are of equal grammatical rank, right?
And
So, words, you can say that conjunctions are the words that connect words, phrases, or independent clauses that are equal grammatical rank. Let's talk about some of the common examples. You can say that the common examples like and, but, or, nor, for, yet, and so, isn't it? These are called as a common examples. Even if you talk about that, I could say the easy word to remember is called as a fanboys, right? What is that fanboys? You can say F for, and A for and, then N for neither, neither, or nor, neither. You can say that nor. Then if you talk about B for but, um, you can also remember by saying that because. Um, then also you can say O for or, right? Then Y for yet, and S for so. So these are nothing but called as a means what kind of a conjunction, what kind of a means conjunctions, you can say that coordinating conjunctions, and also mixing of cheap conjunctions, you can say. They are nothing but called as a cheap conjunctions. So therefore, means if we remember those cheap conjunctions, it becomes helpful for us to not to remember the everything. Okay, coming to the next one. The next one is called as when I talk about and, but, or, not, for, yet, so. So they do have some means some jobs. Like if you talk about and is a what kind of a conjunctions? Coordinating conjunctions, right? So, but is a coordinating conjunctions. But what do they do? And does nothing but join the two same idea. And but what but does, but also means joins two words or two phrases, but it contrasts, it opposes, or gives choice, nor gives negative choice, for gives region, yet obviously contrast, and so is also giving what that called as a region, right? Or you can say that conclusion. Let's look into it. The means examples which have been given here. The first example, she likes to read books and write stories. So what you find out here, you find out the word called as an and. She likes to read books and write stories. Now, in that case, read books and write stories are creating the idea about equal grammatical rank, right? Equal grammatical rank. At the same time, they are also known as phrases, right? And if you talk about books and stories, can be called as words. But at the same time, reading books, writing stories, presenting nothing but a equal grammatical rank. So connecting two verbs that called as a read and write, we can consider. So what to read and write are the verbs. They are joined with the word called as a and. At the same time, if I go for the second example, he wanted to go to the party, but he had too much work to do. He wanted to he wanted to go to the party, but he had too much work to do. In that case, what happened? We find out, um, but it's used as a contrasting to the idea. When I say he wanted to go to the party, it is one of the independent clause, or you can say that means a complete sentence, isn't it? Mm. So in that case, if you talk about he had too much work to do, it is also one of the independent clause. So in that case, you can find out there are two independent clauses are there which are contrasted to each other using with the word called as a but, right? So in that case, we can find out why it is called as an independent clause. Independent clause, it is a stated independent clause because it doesn't depend upon any other words or phrases or clauses to complete it. It is a complete information, so therefore it is known as an independent. Whereas if I say dependent, it means it needs another phrase or clause to complete it, isn't it? So therefore, it is known as a independent clauses. So what independent clauses do? Now, independent clauses joining with taking the help of the means another word which is called as a but or and. It makes nothing but a simple sentence to compound sentence, compound to complex sentence, right? So uh, the idea stated that it connects two independent clauses. He wanted to go to the party and he had too much work to do, right? You can also say that. Uh, at the same time, next example, example three, would you like tea or coffee? Would you like tea or coffee? So in that case, we find out the word or is given. So what is the job of the or? The job of the or is nothing but giving choice, right? That's what it gives choice, right? So in that case, it offers what? It connects two nouns, tea and coffee. In that case, when I say, would you like tea or coffee? We can find out that what? Tea, coffee, which are nothing but given are two nouns and they have been given for the sake of what? Choice, right? So this is known as a coordinating conjunctions. So if I talk about coordinating conjunction, more coordinating conjunction, you would find out that called as even coordinating conjunctions also segregated into many different types. Like you can say that um, additional joining words, additional joining words, like you can say and, like you can say moreover, like you can say that um, not only but also, like you can also say that also, um, or you can say that to. These are nothing but called as a coordinating conjunctions or additional information means uh, additional information connector or conjunction. Similar to that, we have also adversative. Adversative means contrasting. So the word that contrasts to, one to the other idea. Like we talk about but, we talk about though, we talk about although, we talk about yet, we talk about however, we talk about yet. These are nothing but called as a contrast words that generally contrast to two words or two phrases or two clauses, isn't it? Beside that, also we talk about alternative. Alternative indicates nothing but choices. Like you can talk about either or, neither nor, or uh, whether or, never or. These are again called as a, different types of means choices, and that's why we call it alternative conjunction. Beside alternative conjunction, we also find out that is known as a elative. When we talk about elative conjunctions are generally help to, add some, add a region, conclusion, or you talk region or conclusion, like you can say due to, because of, since, for, that, um, and at fast, firstly, at last, lastly, or you talk about many more, right? Which are even conclusion, like hence, thus, therefore, ultimately, consequently, finally. Mm, so uh, these are nothing but called as elative conjunctions, isn't it? So they come under where? They come under coordinating conjunctions. Like here you find out no and, but, or, nor, for, yet, so. So like that you find out many more, which are segregated into additional information, adversative information, then after you can talk about alternative information and relative information, right? So these are the four different types of conjunctions. Now, coming to the second one is called as a subordinating conjunction. So when we talk about subordinating conjunctions, these conjunctions generally connect a dependent clause, right? Like I told you know some time ago that what is dependent clause? Dependent clause is generally called as an incomplete sentence, right? Or incomplete information that requires the help of what? Another sentence to you complete it. So therefore, when we talk about these conjunctions or subordinating conjunctions, generally connect a dependent clause with whom? With the independent clause, right? So then it forms a complete sentence. So the common example that you find out under the subordinating conjunctions are called the because, although, while, since, if, and unless. Let's get some example here. You can find out she stayed home. Why? She stayed home. Why? Because she was not feeling well, right? So she stayed home because she was not feeling well. So in that case, if I say the clothes, she stayed home is a what? Is nothing but independent clause. Why? Because it is a complete information. But when you say that because she was not feeling well, so which is nothing but a dependent. Because she was not feeling well is a dependent. Why it is dependent? Because it doesn't make complete information. So means you point out that why she was not feeling well. So what happened to that? So she stayed home. That's why the answer is called as why she stayed home, because she was not feeling well. So therefore, you can find out the word because, which is used with the she was not feeling well, is nothing but called as a subordinating conjunction, or as it is used with it. So therefore, it is known as a dependent sentence, or you can say subordinate clause, right? So that is what you would find. Second one, example two, you can find out, although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. Although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. Now, in that case, which one is independent and which one is dependent? You can find out the dependent clause is called as although it was raining, right? Now, why it is called as a dependent clause? Because although it was raining is not making the complete information. If you say it was raining, it is a complete information. But if you use although it was raining, it makes a incomplete information. So it requires the help of what? Independent clause. And the independent clause will be what? They decided to go for a walk. So in that case, it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. Will be complete if I say that they decided to go for a walk, although it was raining, or sorry, though it was raining, or I can say, although it was raining, they decided to go for a walk. So, although generally used at the beginning, right? So, and though, yet, but, they can use in the middle of it. So, the clause, although it was raining, is a dependent, and they decided to go for a walk is independent, right? Next, third, third example is called as if you study hard. Now here you would find out the subordinating conjunction can be known as a if, which is a conditional one, right? If you study hard, you will pass the exam. Now, if I only write, if you study hard, then obviously it is not a complete information. So it requires another information to make it complete. So therefore, if you study hard is a dependent clause, then you will pass the exam is an independent clause. So therefore, the clause if you study hard is a dependent and you will pass the exam is independent when joins together. So it creates nothing but a complete information, or you can say conditional sentence, or you can say that means complete information where the condition applies. Am I clear to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Coming to the next one would be known as a uh, correlative conjunction. Give me a second. Hmm. Let's come to the next one. Yeah, correlative conjunctions. So when we talk about correlative conjunctions, so what do we find out? Um, Generally, when we talk about correlative conjunction, it indicates that these work in pairs. Pairs means you understand where two, right? So two words which are equally joined with the what? Equally used with the sentence. Uh, these work in a pairs to join words or phrases that are equal in weight and importance, right? Uh, the common pairs you would find out is known as either or, neither nor, both and, not only but also, whether or, hardly, when, rarely when, or barely when, and scarcely when. You can also say that yes, more than, rather than, sooner than, um, farther than, or you can say that never or. All such kind of words are known as means pair conjunction. So they generally join with the where uh, join with the words or phrases that are equal in weight and importance. Now, coming to some examples, so which will help you to understand it. The first example said, you can either go, you can see that either go, and either is used where now before the verb called as a go. So you can either go to the concert or stay home and relax. Now you find out that stay is another verb where before stay, we use the word called as or stay home and relax. In that case, the pairing either or to present two choices. What are the two choices? Go or stay, right? Either go or stay. And please do remember that when we talk about either or, we generally use two words as a choice, right? Second example is called as example two. Neither the cat nor the dog. Now, do you see that neither is used before the cat, which is a noun phrase, right? And nor is used before the dog, which is a noun phrase. So, likes to be left alone. So, in that case, neither nor, which are no, which is known as a pair conjunction. So that use or that sorry that uses before nothing but the equal in weight and importance, that called the cat and the dog, right? So pairing neither nor to express negation for both, and we understood that where do we use neither nor? We use neither nor to show nothing but a negative. If I want to use either, I can say either the cat or the dog likes to be left alone, right? Then third example, she is both intelligent and hardworking. So when I say both and, again another pair conjunction that uses before where intelligent, hardworking, right? So in that case, both and to show that both and to show that what she possesses both qualities. What are the both qualities? You can say intelligent and hardworking, isn't it? So in that case, you can understood this.
Sir, means these pairs are being placed in certain parts in the sentences. Like if like either is before the verb, then or is also before the verb.
Yes.
And neither is before the noun. That's why that
Nor also
nor
before
is
the
also
noun.
before.
Right.
Yes.
But it is not like compulsion that neither will use only before the noun, right? So neither can also use before verb, neither can also use before phrase, neither can also use before clause. So sometime also these pairs and words can be used before sentences, right? So like you can say that neither he came to my house nor he means uh, told me anything about it, right? In that case, it also begins before the sentence to point out two different sentences, right? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, so finally, what do we understand here? Coordinating conjunctions connect similar elements. Uh, so please do understand the final idea. It's called as a coordinating conjunction. So we understood what are the coordinating conjunctions that called as additional information, adversative information, then after uh, alternative information and relative information. So these are the information, they connect similar elements, right? Um, join, contrast, give choice, or give region or conclusion. Subordinating conjunctions, they generally link dependent and independent clauses, right? They generally link dependent and independent clauses. And if you talk about correlative conjunctions, they work in pairs or join balanced ideas. That is what these three conjunctions job. Am I clear?
Mm. Hmm.
Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So just the last time, the examples of that subordinating.
Subordinating conjunctions are the conjunctions they generally join means dependent to independent. I told you, no, dependent and independent
Yes,
means
sir.
what?
That I understood.
So
Dependent,
dependent means incomplete and independent means complete. So
complete. Yes.
you can say that means I took my food. I took my food or I took my
Hmm.
dinner, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if I want to, it is a complete or incomplete sentence.
I took my food. It is a complete sentence.
Okay. So if I write another sentence where I said that uh, because I was hungry.
Hmm. This is an incomplete sentence.
So because I was hungry, what? Right? It did not make any complete information. So I took my food. Why? Because I was hungry, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that's why we call it. It's a means the word because is working as a subordinating clause, right? That generally uses with the incomplete information, right?
Hmm.
So independent with the dependent. Fine. Now, let's come to the some of the words which generally needs a help or called as a student need a help to understand those of the words. The first one, which is called as a not only but also, right? Okay. So
Not only one.
not only but also. So we understood that when we talk about not only but also, you can see that the examples are given. He is not only a talented musician, but also a skilled painter. Now, what do you find out? The word not only is used before a talented musician, which is called as a noun phrase. And if you talk about but also, which is used before a skilled painter, so in that case, the pair, not only but also connects two qualities of the subject, right? So showing both have the abilities, musician and painter, talented musician, skilled painter. Got my point?
Hmm.
So next is called as a whether or. If you talk about whether or, we can find out whether we go by car or by train, right? So if you see that means the statement stated what? It is a kind of a question, right? where you are making a kind of a means statement where or a question statement where you are asking choices whether we go by car or by train depends on weather or depends on the weather. So if I write that means we go whether by car or by train depends on the weather. That is called as a maintaining parallelism. Parallel. Like we go whether by car or is used before by train and whether will use before the by car. But as it is used at the beginning, it indicates nothing but a what? A kind of a question where whose answer means maybe called as out of this two, you can ask for one. So the pair presents two options or alternatives, which is nothing but called as a car and train, right? So similar to that second example, whether you like it or not, we must leave now. Whether you like it or not, we must leave now. This shows nothing but a condition or fact, right? So the first one is nothing but a choice. The second one is a condition or fact, regardless of the preference, like it or not, whether you like it or not. Then third is called as and as. When we talk about as and as, the again it is a pair. We can say that as much as, we can say as good as, we can say that as beautiful as. So here you would find out she is as tall as her brother. So what does it do? It does nothing but compares two things, right? It compares two things. And what does it do? It show equality, right? As and as, which is nothing but indicating equality. Similar to that, when we talk about scarcely when we say that scarcely when, we find out what? Uh, Again, it is again called as another pair. Scarcely when, hardly when. So we can say that scarcely had he arrived home when the phone rang. Now, please to understand here, there is a kind of a structure. The structure is called as if I use scarcely when, then my statement would be what? Scarcely. Let me write here. I can go for it. Scarcely or hardly plus I can go with the auxiliary verb. So plus subject. Then after you can go for the main verb, main verb plus object, right? And if you are then after you can use when plus subject plus you can go for the main verb, right? So in that case, the structure is this, right? Scarcely or hardly. So you can say scarcely had he arrived home when the phone rang. You can also say that hardly did he take the dinner when the light went out, right? So in that case, again another example. So the pair indicates what? A very short time between two events, very short time between two events that called as arrival and phone ringing. So, but anyhow, when we talk about arrival, it is the first action. So therefore we use hard and rang is a second action. So therefore it is used as a simple past. The first one past perfect, right? Past perfect. And the second one is called as a simple past, right? Simple past. Okay, so that is the job of what? Not only but also whether or as and scarcely when. Let's move to the next one. Okay, what is the next one? The next one is, yeah, no sooner than, right? So the next one is called as a no sooner than. Again, you would find out pair conjunction. So no sooner had he left the house no sooner had he left the house than it started raining. Sometimes you get the question, no sooner had he left the house when it started raining. So when is generally used with the scarcely or hardly. And sooner, rather, farther, further, uses with nothing but a than, right? So you can say that this indicates that one event happened immediately after the other, leaving the house and rain starting. Leaving the house and rain starting. So therefore, we can say that no sooner than. Similar to that, when you talk about rather than, when we talk about rather than, we can say she chose to walk rather than take the bus. So generally, rather than, sooner than, used for the sake of what? Comparison, right? So here also you would find out this pair presents a preference between two options, walk or take the bus. And here you would find out leaving the house and rain starting, right? One event happened immediately after the other. So the next one you can find out the more, the more. We generally know that these are comparative word, right? So and we put the before it. Like you can say the more you read, the more you learn, or the more you do hard work, the better you earn, right? So the pair indicates a what? A relationship where one action influences the other, right? That's called as reading and learning, isn't it? So most of the time
Yeah.
we get that called as a uh, uh, the better you prepared, the greater you receive, right? In that case, you find out the better, the greater. Similar to that, next one is called as a whether or as earlier. Whether or makes the sense of what as earlier. Let's say that whether you like it or not, we must leave now. So this indicates nothing but repeating the previous example for emphasis on alternatives, right? Whether or that gives you nothing but alternative. Okay. Coming to the couple of more. So here you would find out not but, right? Then after you would find out that's called as a some examples. Let's say that not but. Uh, we know that not only but also, but we also use not but, not just but just also, right? So let's say that it's not the end, but a new beginning. Now here not is used, therefore but is used. It's not the end, but a new beginning. So this pair emphasizes what? A contrast between two ideas that called as end and a new beginning, right? Similar to that, when you talk about so that is used when you talk about he was so tired that he fell asleep immediately. So tired that he fell asleep. In that case, the pair shows what? Cause and effect. Cause and effect means region and result. So tiredness leading to nothing but falling asleep, isn't it? So when you use so is indicating nothing so tired. That's why he fell asleep, right? So is indicating region, whereas that is indicating nothing but a effect to it. So similar to that, when you talk about such that, when we say such that, we can find out she was such a talented artist that her paintings sold out within hours of being displayed. So such a talented artist that her paintings sold out within hours of being displayed. So this pair shows what? A degree of quality leading to an effect. Right. So, in that case, talented artist leading to painting selling out. Such a talented. So, which is nothing but indicating some kind of a degree, right? That her painting is indicating nothing but a quality leading to an effect. So, can be indicating nothing but an explanation or called as a conclusion to it. Likewise, hardly when we understood that hardly generally comes with a when. So hardly had she started reading when she fell asleep. Now this shows the immediacy of two actions happening close together. Again, reading and falling asleep, right? So in that case, hardly is indicating that what? means the first action had she started reading, then when she fell asleep is nothing but indicating second action. So therefore, hardly is used with the present perfect when it's used with the simple past. Okay, coming to the next one. The next one is called as as much as. So when we talk about as much as, you can find out he eats as much as his brother does, right? He eats as much as his brother does. Now this pair shows what? Equality in quantity. So we know that as and as generally used with as much as beautiful as good as. So eating compared between two people which are equal. Okay, then we'll also move for the next couple of words and then we finish it and we'll go for the some questions to do. Uh,
Questions.
uh,
Yes.
so here the first one is given as soon as 14th one. As soon as the sun rose, the birds started singing. Now this pair links what to two actions that happen immediately in sequence. That called as a sun rising and bird singing. So please do understand immediately in sequence, right? So the harder, the more. Eh, the harder you work, the more success you will achieve. So this pair also shows what how one action influences what influences the outcome. Working hard leading to more success, isn't it? Then 16, no less than. When we talk about no less than, uh, it took no less than 3 hours to finish the project. Now this pair also emphasizes what the amount or extent is nothing but 3 hours. The sooner, the better. Again, the sooner we leave, the better we arrive, right? So here it is used two times sooner. It should be used with the better. The sooner we do the task, right, the better we get the result. So in that case, the pair suggest what the quicker the first action happens, the sooner the second action will occur. That's called as a leaving and arriving. So if I write sooner, sooner, or the better, sooner the better. So it indicates nothing but a sooner, better, then after more and more, the harder and the more. So such kind of a idea is indicating nothing but the quicker the first action happens, the second action will occur immediately after that. Okay. Coming to, let's see that some more are there or not. Yeah, exercise. So we have some exercise, some questions which are given here. Okay. So if possible, you can take the screenshot of it and you do them.
So give me a minute.
Or shall I send to you?
No, sir, I have taken the screenshot.
Second one. Took the second one.
Yes, sir, done.
Third one.
Third one. Yes, sir, done.
Okay. Complete it. And tell me in the next class because